Building apartments or buying land, which is a better investment? That is the question I'm going to be answering on this episode of the Ask a Realtor Show. Stay tuned. Cecilia Makwe says, what if your application for CFO is not successful? All right, let's go to the next question. How safe is Ekpe? That is the question I'm going to be answering on this episode of the Ask a Realtor Show. Please like this video, share, and do not forget to subscribe. All right, guys, welcome back to this episode of the Ask a Realtor Show. This is a show where I answer all your real estate related questions, right? So you ask the questions, I answer them. I started this show sometime in 2018. I changed my style of content at some point, but I'm bringing back the show, right? So if you've got a question you want to ask a realtor, if you've got a real estate related question, please drop them in the comment section and I will answer them on the show. All right, guys, so let's answer this question. So Ikenna says, building apartments or buying land, which is a better investment, and your reasons. Now, at first, I thought he was saying buying apartments or buying land, which is a better investment. But I read it again, and then he says building apartments or buying land, which is a better investment, and your reasons. When it comes to investment, one metric that you need to consider is your return on investment, your ROI. That's one metric that you need to consider, right? So I don't know where you own the land, right? Let me give you an example. If you have a parcel of land in Ogombo is in Ibrahim Adesanya, somewhere in Aja, Lagos here, and you want to build apartments there, right? Let's say you have one plot of land and then you want to build 6 apartments. It's going to cost you maybe say 70 million naira, for the whole project, building, approval and everything, 70, 80 million naira, right? And you're thinking, should I use this money to build apartments here? Or should I take this money to Ikate? Land in Ikate is more expensive. So maybe say Agungi, right? Or Chevron, right? And buy land there. The question is, what is the return on investment? If you buy land in that location, in 2 years, what would happen, right, to the land? By how much would it appreciate? Would the land be worth 160 million, 100% appreciation? Would it be worth, 90 million? Would it be worth 100 million? What's the margin you would have made in 2 years, right? Now, if you put that 80 million in Ogombo and you build 6 apartments, first of all, you would have increased the value of your land, because if the land is worth 35 million naira, today, and you put 80 million naira on it, the value of the land already has appreciated, right? And then you will now ask yourself as well, not only would the land appreciate, you would also be earning returns from your property. So, or you could decide and say, okay, you know what? I want to sell some of the apartments. So let's say you build 6 apartments and you sell, say, 2 or 3. You probably make back the entire money you spent on building and you own the other properties, right? So you own the other properties and you're earning rent from them, right? But what you've given away is that you've given your rights to the ownership of the complete land. So yes, you still own part of the land. The land is still appreciating, right? The property is giving you rental income, right? If you keep the property well, in good condition, and you keep renovating, right? The property will also appreciate, right? Compare that with if you buy land, and then just allow the land to appreciate. So it's dependent on what the return on investment is. You have to do the numbers, right? Now, compare that with, say you have 80 million naira and you're thinking of using that 80 million naira to either buy land in Chevron, thereabout, like I just mentioned, or you want to use the 80 million naira to build apartments, say somewhere in in your village. I mean, let me not mention any village now or any state now. In your village, and let's say in your village you do not have, I mean, the value of the land is not as high as the value of land in Lagos State, number one. Secondly, let's say, the infrastructure and the facilities to guarantee, capital appreciation of your land is not there. So you could take that 80 million naira, go dump it in the village, build apartments there. First of all, the rental income is not high. Yes, the property will appreciate, but the value is not even up to the value of the one, that you have in Lagos, right? So the return on investment is not as high as you would have expected, right? Or it's not as high as what, you would get in Lagos, right? But if you had put the money in Lagos, the property will appreciate. Later on, you can sell it or you could build on it and make more money. So it all boils down to numbers. People lie, human beings lie. But what are the numbers? What is the return on investment if you buy a parcel of land compared to the return on investment if you build apartments in that particular location you are thinking of, right? So you don't have to be sentimental. You don't have to be emotional about, this answer. It's a simple numbers to number. I mean, it's a numbers game, right? And you find out in what period are we looking at. So let's say in 20 years, if I buy this land now and keep it in 20 years, what's the ROI? What will the ROI on the property be? And if I build this apartment in this location, what will the ROI on the property be, right? If you build apartments in Lagos or if you buy land in Lagos, you can say, okay, man, I'm going to be earning returns, that's income, and the land is still going to be appreciating. Oh yes, man, I think it makes more sense to build. Or I buy land, and in 20 years, this is what the value of the land might be, right? Compared to, let's say I go build, somewhere in my village or something, right? I think I should buy land. So it all boils down to the return on investment. So there's no single answer to that question. We have to look at the location where you want to buy the land, right? We have to look at the location where you want to build the apartments. We have to look at the duration, you are considering. I mean, it could be a lifetime, yes. We have to look at the return investments from the different kinds of investments, right? The return investments, the ROI on the different kinds of investments. So when we look at location, get the numbers, then we can say, okay, this is the ROI on this is the ROI on this. Then you can make a decision, buy land or build apartments, right? And if what you really wanted me to answer was buy land or buy apartments, then, just drop your question again, and then I'll make another video answering that question. All right, guys, this is it for today's episode on the Ask a Realtor show. If you've got any related question, please drop them in the comment section. And I'll take a question, I'll answer it, and I'll put it up here for you to see and for others to learn. And if this is the first time you are, watching my videos, please do well to subscribe. And when you do that, do not forget to tap on the notification bell so that whenever I post new videos, you'll be one of the first to know. All right, guys, until the next episode, bye-bye.